Welcome to the Millennial Network Podcast. Now your host, Coach Danny Renee.
What's up, y'all? Coach Danny Renee here, and this is the Millennial Network Podcast. We have here IB, your trainer. This dude is a fitness beast. And he's gonna go all into that. But I remember I met this dude like years ago, when I was trying to train for fitness modeling and everything, and he had like a really good success record as far as getting people ripped ads and fit bodies. So this dude knows his stuff when it comes to fitness and nutrition. So IB, tell us about how did you get into fitness first off?
Yo, what's up, man? Danny, first off, I appreciate you having me on here. I love what you're doing, exposing and shedding light to the millennials. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for finding value enough in me to have me on your podcast. I appreciate you.
No problem.
But yeah, so I got into fitness. I've been in fitness now as a career over about a decade. So 2022 would be a decade.
Okay.
But I've played sports pretty much my entire life. Got a background in basketball and hoops, so that's my thing. I went to college. When I went to college, I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. My family was pushing me to be in the medical field in terms of like nursing or something like that, because that's what my mother does. My father is a radiology. He's in radiology. So that was the intention. But years in college, I realized, it wasn't for me in that aspect. So I stumbled across exercise physiology, all right, which is the study of exercise and how it affects your body. Mm-hmm. And it was the one thing that I did like that was in alignment with what I was already doing, which was working out. I started working out in 2006. That was the first time I really picked up weights and saw how it could change my body.
And this is after basketball?
Yeah, so this is after basketball. Yeah. This is after basketball, when I'm trying to find my way and trying to figure out something that aligns with that or gives me that same fulfillment. So the funny part is this. I'll tell you this part. The funny part is I actually got into it. I'm a health guru, so to speak, now. So I talk about health all the time, and I value health more than anything. But the truth is, I didn't get in because of health. I got in because of aesthetics. So I'm a new shout out, Kappa Outside Incorporated. But I'm a Kappa, and we had a step show. The very first step show that I was going to be in was with other athletes, and they all were relatively ripped, and really they were swole, so to speak. And I grew up skinny. You know what I'm saying? I'm a lean guy. So I was just like, man, ain't no way I'm going on stage with these dudes looking like I do. So for about the next 60 days, I just really got into the gym, and that's where it all opened up for me. I just fell in love. I fell in love with the feeling of working out, with lifting weights. I fell in love with the results, and then the feedback that I got while doing it, while being on stage, was like no other. You know what I mean? So that started my journey, to be honest. I want to be completely transparent with people that are in it right now just for aesthetics. It can grow into something. Right. So 10 years ago it started, or 15 years ago it started with just the way that I look. And then over time it grew into this thing where I just fell in love with health. So continue moving forward. I did that. Now here's where the health shift came in. So 4 years after that, I got diagnosed with prehypertension. All right, for all of you guys that don't know that, hypertension is high blood pressure. So at 20 years old, I got diagnosed with, pre-high blood pressure, so to speak. And that was a wake-up call that the way that you look, in terms of from a muscle standpoint, has nothing to do with, your internal health. You know what I mean? So, so from that moment on, that's when I shifted. If you're not eating well. So that's when I had to shift from just how I look with muscles to all right, nutrition plays a huge role in this. You know what I'm saying? So that was the beginning of my obsession with nutrition and how it affects the body. And then I transitioned to that. I graduated from college. I ended up working at a hospital in cardiac rehab and in the physical therapy department. I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And again, realized like, man, this is just not something that I want to do in terms of like working with sick people all day. So I transitioned into personal training. And that's the rest was history. So 10 years in the game now of personal training and health coaching. And man, I've been blessed by the Most High, and I can't see myself doing anything else.
I love it. And I did not know that about your background. So thanks for sharing. So, it's interesting. You say you were working for sick people and then you ended up getting into personal training. Did you start like doing it on the side, or you were just like, I'm gonna jump all into personal training?
Well, I jumped off, to be honest, I jumped all in. Like, I jumped all in all ways. So in every way that you can even imagine. So I know a lot of times, like even with entrepreneurship, we're just, we're like, when people give different types of advice, it's kind of like, do what works best for you. Start doing it on the side first. But for me, I was just to a place to where I just knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, it didn't matter what my situation actually looked like. I just knew that I was greater than what it was that I was doing at the time. And the beauty of it was that I was able to use every stage of my life up until that point to catapult me into being a great trainer. So the reason why I say that is this: me working with sick people, even though it was something that I hated, it's the reason why I'm so good at what I do when it comes to training and health coaching. You know why? Because I can see in the future. And what I mean by that is I was able to work with people that were you before you think that's going to be you. All right. So I'll say that again. Like,
wow.
I was working with people that you are going to end up like if you don't work with me. Does that make sense?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm working in a hospital with people that have had heart attacks, that have had high blood pressure, that have high blood pressure, have diabetes, have had a stroke. These are the people that I'm rehabbing. So they got to that place because of negligence of their health. So the idea is this: if you don't get it together on the front end, which is, being active, being proactive when it comes to your health, that's where you're going to end up. And I know that because I worked in that place for 2 years and I heard all the stories. I heard all the stories of, I wish I should have did better. I wish I should have ate better. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm forced to. I wish I would have exercised more because now I have to. Whether I want to or not, I have to. You know what I'm saying? And now I only got one leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part. It's like, now you have to imagine how much harder it is to work out with one leg than it is with two, because you have blood clots and damaging your tissue from diabetes. You got to get your leg amputated, and now you have to move or you're going to get your other leg amputated. You get what I'm saying? So now it becomes, you got to do this stuff by force and not by choice. So that perspective is actually what made me like realize that I could really be good at what it is that I do. So I just jumped out on the deep end, and again, the rest was history. I went full time and never looked back.
Okay. So did you end up working for a gym, or did you start doing it on your own?
Yeah. So great question. I worked out, and this is my advice to people as well that may want to get into this industry. But I actually work for a gym. I'm not going to say their name, but it's a popular gym that everybody knows. Multi-billion-dollar.
Is that where I met you at?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that where I'm? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. I forgot you trained there then, or maybe I didn't know if you trained there or not. But anyways.
Yeah, I wasn't training there at the time. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I worked there first for about a year. The thing that it did for me, all right, this is why I tell people that they may need to do this first. And what I mean do this is like, if you have intentions of becoming like a personal trainer or a health coach, it's great for you to at least do a year in a corporate gym or some kind of gym facility that is run by a corporation. The reason why is not necessarily because you are going to improve your skill set in training. You can improve your skill. My skill set was pretty much second to none when I first started, only because I had a background in exercise physiology.
So
it wasn't really right? I already had experience. It wasn't really my skill set that I was sharpening, even though the more you work, you'll sharpen that. It was the business acumen. So it was me seeing how you take a cold client, someone that may not be interested in training at all or whatever, how you take that person and you walk them through an assessment, you talk to them about packaging, and then you put them into the system, and then after you sell them, you get the client, and then you schedule them. It was the whole idea behind the corporate system of selling personal training or selling coaching. That was the key for me. So pretty much running a business. That corporation taught me how to run a business. And so for that reason, I would do it over again the same exact way. Because I wasn't getting paid in terms of financially, like I was getting paid $6 per session. So that's why a lot of people don't want to do it.
Yeah, I heard it's bad there.
Yeah, it's bad. $6. So literally I was getting $6 per session. Now catch this. The training sessions were $60 per session. So the people were paying $60 and you as the trainer was only getting 10% of that. So that's why a lot of people don't do it, because they like, man, I'm not about to be working for that. But it's $1 million experience because you get to see how the sales rep gets the client from just walking on the treadmill in the gym to you, transitioning from that to actually training with you. And that was the $1 million experience.
I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people, they aspire to be entrepreneurs, right? And some people jump out on faith. I was one of the ones that kind of jumped out on faith, right? And they're like, oh, you see the glitz and glamour. You see everything on social media, everything look easy, right? And there are many people bashing the experiences of jobs, and it's just like, okay, some people, they're meant to be a job because you plan on having employees one day if you plan on being an entrepreneur, right? So can't necessarily bash them. But on the flip side is, if you actually dream of being an entrepreneur, is a lot of people aren't. I had posted something on Instagram. It's like, and I heard the other day the dude was basically saying your job is your first mentor. And you just pretty much explained that, is that your job was your mentor. And I think a lot of people aren't understanding the lessons that they can get, because if a company has been around for so many years, one thing that most entrepreneurs forget is the system. These companies have existed for so long because they have a system that works. Like, even when, you got Black Friday, they know what to expect. They have numbers, which is why they can drop prices and everything down. So I think that's powerful that you were able to sit there and just be like, hey, I'm getting paid less. I'm almost like an apprentice, right? I'm getting paid a very low amount for personal training, but yet I'm learning so that when I step out on faith and do it on my own, which is millennials, using your job to entrepreneurship, you utilize that process to be able to build your own. So tell me, how did that transition go? So you worked there for a year, and then you got into training on your own. How did that process go? Because I'm pretty sure you built a lot of relationships along the way.
Yeah. So it's beauty in that as well, because like you said, the relationship part with the two words that you literally just said was what was able to catapult me into success as an entrepreneurship. So the systems and the relationships. So a year after being there, we got so good at what and when I say we, shout out to my dog JC Sowers, JC Mr. Fitness. He was actually the training sales rep, personal training sales rep, so manager. So he was the one responsible for getting potential clients to sign up for training, and he was awesome at what he did. So and then I was awesome at training. So together for this multi-billion-dollar company,
dynamic duo.
Yeah, we were the ones that were nailing it. You know what I'm saying? And they were making money off of us. So after a year, we realized like, this is like clockwork, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, their system, us implementing their system with our talents, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it got to the point where we started implementing our own system. Now, my advice on this is, of course, like when you're working for someone, this is not something that they are going to like. Just be honest. Like when they have their system set up, they're not going to like you implementing a system of your own because it's a conflict of interest with theirs, which is understandable. So we just got to a point, long story short, we got to a point where our system, our system along with theirs was a powerhouse, but our system was a conflict of interest to theirs. All right, so they finally gave us a decision. They were like, look, guys, this is, now mind you though, the gym was a hit. The gym was bunking. Like our nutrition, we had implemented nutritional supplementation. At the time I was doing MLM, multi-level marketing. And we took the nutritional supplements and we implemented them into the gym, and it was a hit. And they just didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't, even though it was, bringing more clients and all this stuff, when they see that they can't make money off of it, that's when it becomes an issue. So they gave us a decision. They was like, you guys got to stop what you're doing right now, or you gotta go. So at that moment, like, we kind of looked at each other, and he told me, and he was just like, man, what you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can do this under them, we can do this, you know what I'm saying, by ourselves. So we kind of made an executive decision, like literally on the spot. I tell the story, this is exactly how it happened. I came in that morning. I used to get in there at like 5 a.m. I got there at 5. By lunchtime, I had quit. You know what I'm saying? So at lunchtime at 12, we looked at each other. He was like, man, I think I'm done with this shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm done too, bro. Like, if you all in, I'm all in. And I just told him, I was like, now, for me, the way that I work, if I leave, I'm never turning back. And that's been the foundation that I've built entrepreneurship on, and why I've been in the game for 10 years. Because even when it gets tough, I always go back to that moment where I said, I can never go back. I will never go back to a 9 to 5. I'll never go back to, working for someone else. And I've stood 10 toes down on that. So I walked out at lunchtime. Again, the rest was history. But it was beautiful because we took the systems, and even better, this is why my advice to anybody, when you're working a job, even if you're not getting paid the way you want to, even if it's not your company, you got to work it like it is. So because I did that, because nobody would tell that I was making $6. Like, everybody they was like, this dude is the best trainer I've ever seen. Like, I got to sign up with him. So when I left, guess what happened? Those relationships that I built, they left too. They left too. You know what I'm saying? Like, they left a multi-billion-dollar
especially if they're already spending $60 an hour or $60 a session.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? So that was wow. I was put in a pipeline. I was put in a pipeline of people that were already willing to spend that type of money. So when I left, because at that point they were only there for me. Like, yeah, they might have been there from a membership standpoint, like if they needed a gym to go to, but from a personal training experience, they were only training because of myself as a trainer and JC, my partner, as the person that made them see value in training. So they were like, hell, if y'all are leaving, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I stay here? You know what I'm saying? So my first group of clientele came from the pipeline that I had just left. They were just like, after my month expires, I'm going to take that same money and I'm going to pay you. Even deeper, some of those people that were in deeper contracts that weren't willing to break their contract financially, they were like, I'll do 2 sessions at LA Fitness. I'll do two sessions at this company, and I'll pay you for a 3rd session. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't already gave who the company was, but they said that they'll pay me. You know what I'm saying? So even the ones that couldn't leave completely, they paid me for an extra session. You know what I'm saying? So it was beautiful. So you hit it right on the head when it comes to systems and relationships. You build those two, and you'll be able to survive in the entrepreneurship world.
I love it. So let me ask you this. When you left, did you see your value then? Did you see your value and was like, hey, I'm going to get it? Or did it take time to build up and understand what your value is? Because I know with some personal trainers, I mean, I tried to do personal training years ago. And it wasn't for me personally, because that was my first experience into sales. And I'm like, I'm tired of these people reaching out to me. They don't want to spend the money. Then I was undercharging, or I had to meet a buddy if I was to keep on with personal training. He was just like, yo, your prices is too low. And there's a lot of personal trainers out here charging like 10, 12, 15 an hour. Like, you're giving yourself minimum wage as a personal trainer. So did you see your value right when you left, or did it take time?
To be honest, again, so for me, what it was me being in that, if it wasn't for that corporation, I wouldn't have seen my value. Not because of me not seeing my value in what I do. I know and understand my value in terms of what I do. The issue is this. This is what the issue is with health and personal training. The issue is you are in a industry where the value is so broad in terms of what people are willing to charge. So I saw a corporation, them charging that amount. That's the only reason why I even knew that amount was even relatively possible, because of what they were charging. But then when you just go into the industry itself, the range is so wide. So they may be charging $60, $65, $70 per session, but then you do have trainers out there that are charging $12. So now what that does is that kind of undercuts you, because it's almost like, well, why I'm going to pay you $60 when this dude is, you have all these crazy things where people are charging like $150 per month for limited sessions. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, how can you compete with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to charge you, you know what I'm saying? Like, by the time you do 2 sessions with me, you've already paid what this person is saying. You could just come to the gym anytime you want for $150 per month. So that's the problem. So if you're looking at a binge, right? If you look at anything, at Aston Martin, there's no wide, you know what I'm saying? Like, an Aston Martin costs what an Aston Martin costs. You know what I'm saying? It don't care. It don't matter what this person says, that person says. You're not about to go find an Aston Martin for like this. You might find one a little bit low, on the lower end of the payment tier, right? But you're not going to find a cheap Aston Martin. You know what I'm saying? We're in personal training and health coaching. You can literally find what you would call cheap. Like, it literally is cheap. You can find somebody that's willing to train you for $10 per session. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue. So even if you see your own value, you just gotta stand 10 toes down on the idea that somebody will pay it. You get what I'm saying? Like, maybe not a lot of people, like, and you got to put yourself in that space. So what that corporation did was it put me in the space, in the pipeline of people that are willing to spend that, because your friends and your, you know what I'm saying, like, the people, let's use our demographic, the people in the hood, or whatever you want to call it, or, them people might not see the value if that exists. They might not see that. The people you went to high school with, they may not see the value in that. They may be like, bro, what? You trying to change? Man, this is an online program where they charge me $9.99 and I get unlimited exercises. Well, I'm going to pay you $99 for your session. You get what I'm saying? So you really got to understand that the value that you bring is invaluable, first of all, because it's health. Anything that is promoting health is of more value than anything else. Aston Martin, a private jet, you can't really experience those things at a high level if you're not healthy. You know what I'm saying? If you're sick, it don't matter if you got a private jet. You know what I'm saying? If you dead, if you die from, you know what I'm saying, heart disease, it didn't matter that you had a private jet. So when you in personal training and health, you got to realize, the thing that you got to realize is that you are what you offer is more valuable than anything, period. It doesn't matter. They're more valuable than gold. Because again, without your health, you know what I'm saying, the gold has no value, for real. You know what I'm saying? So I just encourage anybody in this industry to make sure that you stand like on that and understand that there is, no matter how many people have said no, you know what I'm saying, especially with the internet age, there is somebody out there that will see the value in what it is that you have to offer, as long as you do. But you gotta see it first. You know what I'm saying? And the way that I saw it was, just being in that pipeline and seeing people spend that kind of money on what it is I had to offer.
Nice. So I guess we talk about this question of value, and let's rewind it for a second. You said at age 20, you found out that you had high blood pressure. Now, was that hereditary or just from like something that you were eating?
It was something that I was eating, because the way I feel about genetics and stuff being hereditary, really usually what's hereditary is the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? They have something called epigenetics, which is the how your genes are expressed based off environmental factors in your lifestyle. So genetics is the gun, but your lifestyle shoots it, right? So all genetics is saying, I'll use that example. All genetics is saying that you might, from a genetic standpoint, you might only have a 22, where somebody else might have an AR-15, right? From a genetic standpoint, right? But here's how lifestyle works. That AR-15 can't cause you any damage or any harm if you don't shoot it, right? That 22, even though it's a small gun, it can harm you if you shoot it. It can be dangerous. It can still be dangerous, right? So it being shot is what lifestyle is. If you never shoot it, your genetics usually don't. Your lifestyle plays more of a factor than your genetics does. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It was everything it was all the things that I was eating. You know, again, I was working out, but that's only one. There's only one part. There's only one part of this broad picture of like pillars of health. You know what I'm saying? Physical activity is only one. You know what I'm saying? So it was all the other things that I was doing that ended up affecting my health.
And I think that goes back to, like you were saying, with the personal trainers and this wide spectrum of prices, because you can go to a personal trainer and they charge you $10, $12. A real personal trainer or health trainer, they understand their value and knowing that $10, $12 is not going to really get a person. And the person that may be charging a price like that is like, hey, I can get you abs and, you know, I can make you look good, because all you got to do is know how to work out on a certain machine the right way and you can get some level of results. But it goes into the health, where you're basically describing like you knew your value because you knew there was more than a look at that aspect, right? At that point, you knew there was more than a look, but an actual lifestyle where it involves fitness, and then it involves like eating a certain way, and then obviously I'm pretty sure like sleep and, you know, different things like that, right?
For sure.
So my question is, so how did this get you into the competition space? So you were to LA, this and that, and then you had the competition space. Tell me about that story.
All right. Well, so again, by the time I started competing, I think I did my first competition. When I say competition, what she's talking about competing is bodybuilding. So by this time I had been working out again. I started working out in 2006. I started training in 2010. I'd been in the industry for about, let me see. So I think 2016 is when I did, 2014 is when I did my first bodybuilding show. All right. So this is another example of value. All right. So I'm in the gym working out. And a guy comes up to me and he's like, man, do you compete, man? And I'm like, compete in what way? Like, what you mean? He's like, bodybuilding. He's like, man, dog. And I was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I ain't never did a show. He's like, man, that's crazy, because you look like you compete. You look like you could do a show. And I was at this point, I didn't really know I'd heard of bodybuilding, but I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what competing was about. I was green pretty much. So he was like, man, look, he was like, I stepped on stage, you know, I did a couple shows, and he was an older guy, which was intriguing because he was in his 40s. He's not old, but he was in his 40s. I mean, he looked amazing. You know what I'm saying? Not just for his age, but just period. So he's like, man, look, it's something that you should try. He's like, I got a coach, shout out Wendell Floyd. He's like, man, I got a coach. Man, you should check him out. You know what I'm saying? This is his number. Call him and he'll explain how all this works. So I reached out to Wendell. He set up an assessment for me. He told me to meet him at his gym. So I go up there, right? And now, mind you, me being a former athlete, me being, at this point, I'm a successful, relatively successful personal trainer, so I'm in this space where I may not know about bodybuilding, but I got this thing in my head where I'm kind of like, but I'm good. Like everywhere I go, people tell me, like I'm in the 1% when it comes to physiques. Like when I go out, people my body is amazing. So I'm thinking like I just got it going on, right? So I go in there and big dude because he's a bodybuilder. He's an IBB pro. So IBB pros are the professionals. So if you're talking about basketball, these are the NBA players, all right, of basketball. So he's pretty much in the NBA of bodybuilding. So I go, I see him, and he looks amazing. But still, I'm not impressed in terms of like I've seen people like that. So we get to talking, and he starts asking me, he's like, all right, yeah, Manny told me that you might be interested in bodybuilding. What would you want to do with this? Like, what would be your end goal? At this point, I had done like my little due diligence on bodybuilding and looked at how it works. And so I'm just like, man, I want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to be the best. Like I'm IB. I can be the best at this. I want to win the Olympia, which is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. I'm like, one day I want to win Olympia, all this stuff. So he's just looking at me, you know what I'm saying? At this point, he got like a little side eye, listening to me run my mouth. And so the only thing I said was, I was like, I'm not going to do, but I ain't going to do steroids, right? Now, just a little backstory on steroids. No knock on bodybuilding and like steroid. I don't recommend steroids for anybody. But here's the truth: steroid or enhancement. I'll say performance enhancement, so it doesn't trigger people. But performance enhancement is a part of the game. All right. So in bodybuilding, like people take performance enhancements. That's pretty much the only way that people can get to that level of criteria to win. You know what I'm saying? So it's a part of the game, nonetheless. But for me, because what I know about health, I came in like, that's just something that I'm not going to do, right? So he took that, and this is where the value came in. Honesty, all right? So where I'm going with this is honesty. There's value in truth, all right? There's value in truth and value in someone being able to look you in your eyes and tell you the truth, no matter how harsh it may seem. That's true. That's value, because a lot of people are not going to do that. A lot of people are going to sell you based off of what they think you should hear. All right. So immediately, dude told me, once I said the enhancement part, like I'm not going to do that. And he was like, all right, hold on, let me stop you there. So you're this guy that has never done bodybuilding. You're coming in here telling me all of this stuff that you think you're going to do, that you're going to win. You're going to come in here and be the best at this sport. A sport that includes performance enhancements, and you're telling me you're not going to do it, but you're telling me that you're going to win? He was like, yeah, nah, it's not. It don't work like that. Now, you have a good genetic basis, and I can help you be better. But I'm going to tell you right now, if that's something that you decide that you're not going to do, then you're not winning Olympia. Like, I'm going to just put it to you like that. So if that's your goal, like, I can tell you can work with me, and I'm going to help you be the best. I'm going to help you build the best body that you've ever had, but you're going to have to taper that expectation a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I respected that simply because, not because he was putting me down, but because I respected the fact that, other people would have took my money and been like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do it. Like, I can guarantee you that I'm going to get you that, you know what I'm saying? And then when I don't get it, it's kind of like, oh, well, it wasn't me. It was you. You didn't do the hard work. You get what I'm saying? They start deflecting. But I respected the fact that he told me, more than anything, he told me the truth about the industry that I was getting myself into. You know what I'm saying? So that was the selling point to me. At that point, the value was in the fact that he was 100% honest with me. And I felt like if he was 100% honest with me on the front end, then I could trust him as my first coach and pretty much in business, so to speak. You know what I mean? I had a basketball coach, but this was going to be my first coach in like this light, in me paying someone. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first experience with it. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a trainer. If you believe otherwise, you're going to stay where you are. But everybody needs one. So that was my first experience with paying someone to teach me or train me how to do something. And that's how I got into bodybuilding.
Okay. How many shows did you do?
I ended up doing, I'll just say a handful, probably about 10 shows. And to be honest, I did really well because again, I still didn't do any performance enhancement. So that was my thing. Again, when I make commitments to myself, I stand with them. So my first commitment was I was never going back to a job. So no matter how hard it is ever gotten, I stood 10 toes down on that. My next commitment was I would never do, no matter how tempting it got. And I got a lot of people saying, here's the thing, my career in bodybuilding spanned about 4 years. In that 4 years, like I heard so many times, yo, if you would just do that, if you would just take some enhancements, you could really win. Like you could really, if you do that, you could win Olympia. That's how good my genetics are. That's how hard my work ethic was. And I actually won. Like the thing was in local shows, I won overall. So overall would be you got let's say you got 100 people in the show. Overall would be like winning the entire show. So you have first place in categories. And then all the first place winners in the category go up and they go against each other to win that category in the entire show. So without performance enhancements, I won an entire show. So I beat all the first place in the entire show. So that made me proud because I did that without a performance enhancement. But and I won, out of all the shows that I did, if I did 10 shows, I won first place probably 7 times. But I did get a kick in the butt when I went to nationals and my attempt to get in the NBA of bodybuilding, it was a wrap. Like no placings, I want to say, if it's like 10 levels, like I got level and 10 being the lowest, I got like level 10 in my attempt to become a pro. Like I was at the bottom tier, so wow. I got a great experience of wins, of highs and lows. So I will always value, again, every experience that I've had leading up to now. I value them, whether it be good or bad. I value them. And bodybuilding I don't do bodybuilding anymore. I don't coach bodybuilding anymore. I have no aspiration to, but I do value my experience in bodybuilding.
How come? Why did you stop? Is it because of the performance enhancement?
No, it actually wasn't because of that. And that's why that door is still open. I do want to do at least one more show, again, only because I promised myself I would, because I left bodybuilding in a way that I didn't want to. And to answer your question, it was because of injuries. So I did my latest show in 2000.
Injuries.
Yeah, in 2018. And because of the wear and tear of the sport, which is, again, why, although performance enhancements can be detrimental to your health, from a sports standpoint, I get why they do it, because you train so hard. You're training at a higher level than the average person. You know what I'm saying? So bodybuilding training and stuff like that is not normal. You know what I mean? Like you are doing the extreme. So when people try to put that, oh, I saw you did that, so I want to do it. You got to realize, like, I'm not doing what you probably wouldn't be able to do this because it's an extreme level. So just the wear and tear of that extreme level of effort and trying to build that body without them, because that's one of the reasons why people take performance enhancements, is because it helps in that area with recovery and things like that and building muscle faster, because I wasn't doing that. And then I also wasn't doing the little things often like you should, like stretching. I didn't value stretching as much as I do in recovery, as much as I do now that I got injured. But it was an injury, and then I had to kind of leave outside of my wheel. So I always told myself, like, man, I'm gonna give it one more shot when I recover, just because I want to be able to go out. You hear athletes and stuff saying, man, I want to retire on my own terms. It's kind of that's kind of the feeling that I have. Like, I want to be able to give it one more shot in a healthy way and realize that, I'm hanging it up because I just want to, not because I had to, because I couldn't do it
anymore. Gotcha. So do you believe that outside of the performance enhancements that most bodybuilders are living some form of healthy lifestyle? Because I remember, like, some of them, they'll give you this very strict diet, like eat chicken breasts and tilapia or like fish and eat your vegetables with every meal and eat brown rice and sweet potato. That's kind of like the main go-to. And that was one of the reasons why I never did it, because I'm like, you can't tell me this is the only food I need to eat. to get these desired results. So do you feel like collectively their majority of them are still living a healthy lifestyle if they did not have the performance enhancements? Is that how we live life and get the perfect body?
Absolutely not. Now, well, that's a double-edged sword because in terms of because a perfect body is really in the eye of the beholder, right? So most people, when you're talking about a bodybuilding body, then I'll be honest, yes, only because a bodybuilding body is not, it's not a regular body. Like literally those snapshots that you see of a bodybuilder or people may have seen of me, like the week of my show. Yes, you can look on Instagram or Facebook or look at that picture and be like, God damn, I want that, right? But that only lasts for 48 hours. The peak of that body. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you don't look good, like just generally speaking, and you don't look better than majority of the world. But in terms of that shot that you're looking at, that you admire, that you want, that literally lasts for 24 to 48 hours. The moment you eat some real food after you get off stage, it all changes. You get what I'm saying? So you're pretty much chasing a dream. You know what I'm saying? When you look at somebody that's a bodybuilder or whatever, you want that body, you're chasing something that really doesn't exist for real. Because walking around, in order to win a competition, you literally have to be like 3% body fat as a male and under 10% body fat as a woman. And for a woman, that's not even healthy at all because you need essential body fat even to just for your hormones to regulate and for you to even like have babies, and for a man, for you to be able, your sperm count and all of that stuff to be regulated and all of those things. So you are actually unhealthy at that body fat percentage when you step, you know what I mean? Like when you step on stage, that's why you can't stay there for long. You know, so with that being said, everything that you do to get to that from a grand scheme of things is not healthy simply because you're just not going to eat like that forever. Like the truth is this, it doesn't matter how disciplined you are not eating chicken breast and broccoli every day, 6 times a day for the rest of your life. You're just not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So therefore it's not a lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? So this idea of like health being a lifestyle, that's not a lifestyle, which is why bodybuilding is actually dangerous. And it's not me just saying it. You can go look, you can go Google it right now. One bodybuilder just had a heart attack last week and he luckily survived. The week prior to that, a famous bodybuilder, the bodybuilder that just won the Super Bowl of bodybuilding literally 3 years ago, he just died. Another up-and-coming bodybuilder that was one of the best young up-and-coming bodybuilders just died the week prior to that. You know what I'm saying? So that's showing you that it's actually not a healthy lifestyle. And aesthetics, when it comes to having muscle, does not necessarily, even my story about having high blood pressure, aesthetics does not necessarily translate to you being healthy internally, depending on how you get there.
Gotcha. Wow. You know, it's interesting that so many people don't see the value of health, and that's why I got out of personal training. It's because people would reach out to me and just be like, "Hey," you know, a lot of women, them be men to reach out to me like, "Hey, I want 6 pack abs," and some of them probably just reach out to flirt. But then you have women, it's just like, you know, I want my butt to be this way and my legs to be this way, and I would just be like, no, I'm not interested in this, because if cosmetics is the only thing that you're looking for, then I'm not your trainer. Um, but when we look at everything in the lifestyle that we live, like I grew up playing multiple sports, like throughout my whole life. I'm an athlete, natural athlete. Like I can pick up another sport way quicker than most people, because most athletes can, because you already got the work ethic there, which is one of the main things about athletics. Um, but as long as you got a good coach, you know, it's something that's just easy. The reason like Ronda Rousey, she was able to go from, you know, I don't know what she's doing now, but um, yeah. So athletics for the most part is universal, right? But then when I look within myself, and then you were kind of saying earlier, you're like, you know, what's kind of overweight. I wouldn't consider myself overweight. I don't think my BMI, and I'll let you explain it here in a second. but I don't feel healthy. Me personally, like people looked at me in the past like, oh, this girl abs nice, her legs, like cosmetically I look good. But what most people didn't know, I was dealing with chronic pain. Still to this day, dealing with chronic pain. And then I think with my Achilles injury, it caused me to like pause. Yeah, I want to look good, but let's look at life a lot different. Yeah, this is what you're eating. I could definitely do better with what I'm eating, but as you get older, people joke about like when you hit your 30s, your knees, your back. I got knee pain, back pain, shoulder. Um, yeah, that's my main thing. It's my back. And you even said something where you were like, yeah, I wasn't stretching. Think that's a huge aspect because a lot of people go to the gym, they hit weights, and then they leave and never stretch. The stretching is like the one thing most people hate because you don't instantly see the results. So you don't instantly see the results, you don't instantly feel like you got an advantage. So what you mentioned BMI earlier, before we started recording, of an unhealthy person, and how do you take a person, maybe with the not targeted BMI, and maybe even with chronic pain, how you take them from where they're currently at to living a healthier lifestyle?
Because for me, health comes into the component. There are components that. So health for me is just living a high quality of life. All right. And now here's the reason why health is so hard to sell. Right. It's because of this. If you think about selling something, right, almost everything else is tangible immediately, right? So what I mean by that is in the Best Buy, right? When you're explaining the value of something to someone, when you walk in Best Buy that's looking for a TV, you're selling them off of the idea that literally you can show them the tangible difference between 3D, LED, what I'm saying, all of these features, right? And so people feel like they can make a logical, objective decision immediately based off that TV looks. Like right now, when I'm looking at the TVs, it looks more colorful. I can put on these glasses right now and see 3D. I see how it fits on the wall, so I can imagine how it's going to fit on the wall in my house. There are all of these tangible, immediate, tangible ideas that they can touch. You know what I'm saying? To make an objective, what they think is an objective, informed decision. When usually it's actually uninformed because you're looking at that and then you go spend your money and immediately it's not an asset.
And visualize.
Right. It's not an asset. You wasted the money. You're not going to care about the TV. You know what I'm saying? So you think it's valuable because of just the tangible that you can see, but you immediately lose its value shortly after, right? Health is the opposite, all right? Which is why it's so difficult because health literally is the opposite. Health, yeah, you can show people before and afters, but here's the thing, that's not them. So even though you can show them before and afters and they work, you know what I'm saying? I get it. Like you'll get some people that are just like, wow, well, if they can do it, or at least see something that you did taking someone else from there to there, but still there's this block in terms of like, can that be me? You know what I'm saying? With the TV, yeah, you know that you can take it off, buy it, and take it. But there's this thing like, yeah, they did it, but that's not me. Can that be me? So with health, you're kind of like selling this intangible, right? On the front end, it's like you can't touch it. That's why it seems hard to sell the value because they can't touch it right now. I can't convince you that like you got to see the value. I can't convince you that right now you can touch all the beautiful things that health has to offer. But the difference between health and that TV is that even though right now you may feel like intangibly, it's intangible and you can't touch it, the value moving forward is priceless, almost immediately. You get what I'm saying? Where the TV, you touched it and you touched the value right now, but the moment you take it and take it to your house, it starts to lose value because you just look at it and it gets old. And now they come out with another TV, and that TV no longer suit you and you're like, oh, I want another one. Where health, every single component of health, every time you do something that is promoting to your health, it adds value every single time, whether it be today, whether it be right now, anything, even stretching. You stretching right now, your pain might, like your chronic pain might not go away in terms of like, I want to not be in pain at all. And I wake up tomorrow and I'm still in pain. But literally, if you stretch right now for 30 minutes and your shoulder is hurting, you will feel some improvement at the very least in the range of motion, right? Because it still may hurt, but before it hurt and you couldn't move it. But 30 minutes of stretching, even if it still hurts, now you can move it from here to here. And there's value in that, right? So the more you stretch, even though you're in pain, you can go from here to here. And then now what happens is over time, whether it be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, if you continue to implement that principle, all right, of stretching, you'll realize consistently in 2 years, you're like, damn, either I'm not in pain anymore, or 2 years ago, my pain used to be a 10 and it used to be excruciating. Now my pain is a 2. You know what I'm saying? So what if I keep going? Now, 4 years from now, your pain is a 1. You know what I'm saying? So there will forever be value, you know what I'm saying? But you have to recognize the value. Last example would be this. Even if you're not in pain, right? Or even if you're still in pain 5 years later, it may be the difference between, it's still value because it may be the difference between you still have a little bit of pain, but again, it's manageable and it's not all the time and it's bearable. And it's the one thing that's keeping you away from having to take medication for your pain, which will lead to liver damage over time. There's value in that. But it's just the problem is in the now, people can't touch that. Mm-hmm. They can't touch that. So even though you can tell them, for how many people that's going to listen to this, even though they can sit there and say, man, you know what? I ain't even think about that. Now, when they start implementing it, though, they have to stand firm in the idea that there's going to be value if I just keep doing this. Oh, I'm still in pain, and forget what we were talking about 2 years. But they have to understand that there's going to be value every time you implement this step that is health promoting, that is always going to add value to your life, no matter whether you know it now or not.
Amazing. So tell me about your inflammation book. You got a smoothie book, and then your coaching program.
For sure. The way I'll get into that is this. So like I said, I've been doing this before I even talk about the products itself. I've told you guys, we've been over here for close to an hour. And so now at this point, you guys know my story. You've kind of seen where I started from the front end to the back end. And throughout my experience, because I've been doing this for so long and because I'm in the industry that I am, that doesn't, again, even my industry doesn't really see the value in health more than they see the value in like aesthetics. So I'm even just working, that's the issue within itself as well. Like even my industry is working against me and people that want to value their health, because for the industry, it still just comes down to like aesthetics. And when I say aesthetics, I'm not even just talking about weight loss, which is very important, which I'll explain later, but I'm just talking about this idea that you got to like have muscles to be healthy, right? So it got to a point where I got caught in that, right? And I'm like overcomplicating the process of health, right? So it dawned on me, and it just got to a point where I'm like, man, I want to make this thing easy for people, all right? Because that's why people don't want to do this. We making it too hard. We're making it too difficult. We're making it like you don't have to just eat broccoli and chicken breast. Like you don't have to be a vegan. You don't have to be alkaline. Like it's not saying that those things don't have value in them, but I'm saying that's not the basis of health. And that's what we've come to. We've come to this place where bodybuilding is the basis of health. Extreme diets are the basis of health. You have to be a vegan and it's the foundation of health. And that's just not true. You know what I'm saying? So my niche has become, I want to make health easier for people to understand. So therefore it's easier to obtain. All right. So one of the easiest ways in doing that, because I get a lot of questions on a day-to-day basis, I get tons of questions about how do I do this? How do I do that? So for me, it's just like intellectual property, right? So I can put this stuff in a book, all right? And now I can answer people's questions in a book. All right. So now the questions that you have, you can just go to my book and it'll address some of those questions that you have, all right, in form of information and paired with a modality, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody will tell you what you need to be doing, right? But usually most people can't tell you how to do it, all right? So my ebooks are knowledge. They're knowledge and information, giving you information about what it is that you are looking for. But by the end of it, it's telling you a way that you can do it, all right? So right now I have 3 ebooks, one being the Smoothies King, all right? And it's simplifying, having smoothies. All right. And the reason why is this. The reason why I decided to make this ebook is this. We're telling people to become vegan, right? And that's this whole new trend. But when you talk about health, here's the reality. 90% of people don't eat 4 to 5 servings of fruit and vegetable a day. 90% of people. So is the problem really going vegan or in eating nothing but, plant food? Or is it just that, man, you're not eating no fruits and vegetables? You know what I'm saying? Like 4 to 5 servings is literally nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 to 5 servings is a fruit bowl and a salad. You know what I'm saying? 4 to 5 servings is a banana, an apple, and like 3 cups of greens. That's 4 to 5. That's 4 to 5 servings. And 9 out of 10 people, you line 10 people up right now, not only one person is doing that on a day-to-day basis, right? Furthermore, one smoothie a day will allow you to get the recommended amount of fruit and vegetable you need per day. And you will be healthier just in that aspect, in that realm. You'll be healthier than 90% of the population just by having a smoothie a day. How? You add 3 servings of fruit, you add an apple, a banana, and a cup of pineapple, and you add 2 cups of kale in one smoothie. You blend that thing up, and you've easily reached the daily recommendation of fruits and vegetables per day without much effort. You get what I'm saying? So my ebook is catered to people that want that experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about going vegan right now. You can grow into that. The beauty of my story is this. You guys heard my story from where I began to where I am now. It took me 16 years to go through this process of schooling, having a job working with sick people, deciding that's not what I want to do, and then going into personal training, but personal training under a corporation, doing that for a year, having that experience, learning systems and relationships, taking that and being told to make a decision and deciding like, okay, I'm gonna choose entrepreneurship over working for somebody, then becoming an entrepreneur, then hiring a bodybuilder bringing me down the side, saying like, you think you're the best, but you're not really the best if you don't consider this. Being coached by him for 4 years, getting injured, then getting to you know what I'm saying? So it's easy to say that I just became, like, I went to school for this and then just became this health conscious guru. That's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? There's all of these things in between, but from a health standpoint, that's what we're trying to get people to do. We're trying to get people to go from this unhealthy person that's lived 40 years of their life completely unhealthy, and then tell them by tomorrow you need to be working out for 2 hours, doing 2 a days, spending 2 hours at the gym, stretching for an hour, meditating for an hour, eating just chicken and broccoli, or becoming a vegan. That's why people are not healthy. because they don't have the capacity to do that. You get what I'm saying? So my ebooks are catered to making this shit easier for people to understand, so therefore they can take a step in the right direction. Now, if having a smoothie a day leads you to feeling like, wow, a smoothie a day makes me feel amazing. A smoothie a day helped me lose 5 pounds. Now I don't have to tell you to have another smoothie. You make a conscious decision as a functioning adult, and hopefully an aware adult, to say like, now what would happen if I have 2 smoothies? You know what I'm saying? So you go from having nothing to 1 smoothie to 2 smoothies, and then in 5 years you decide, you know what, I think I want to become a vegan. That has nothing to do with me, right? But over this 5-year span, Fitted 24, which is 24 means a lifestyle, you've created a lifestyle for yourself that you can sustain. You can see yourself having a smoothie every day for the rest of your life. I didn't have to force you to do that. You were just like, it made me feel good. I lost 5 pounds. It helped me with my constipation. Now I want to do incrementally a little bit more. And then before you know it, 10 years go by and you're the healthiest that you've ever been in your entire life. And that's my ultimate goal. All right. So my smoothie ebook helps you implement having a basic smoothie a day, 25 recipes, and it explains, the foundation of having smoothies and the importance of it. And my burnout ebook is about reducing inflammation. So inflammation, whether people want to argue this or not, it very simply put, inflammation is pretty much the cause of all disease. All right. So when you look at disease is this. Disease is destroyed cells. If there are cells in your body that are destroyed at a high level, depending on where they're at, that's how you categorize what the disease is, right? So if you have a bunch of destroyed cells in your liver, then now you could have liver disease or liver cirrhosis, all right? But it really just comes down to the fact that the cells in your liver are destroyed. The main cause of destroyed cells is inflammation, all right? Inflammation is caused by pretty much 3 main things. Now, there are hundreds of things that fall into these categories, but the main 3 things is acid, too much acid in the body, too much mucus in the body, and too many toxins in the body. That's it. So everything falls into that.
And your book goes over all that.
It's all of that. Yep.
Amazing. So I guess my last question for you is, what does your financial exit look like in this space? What is when you decide to say, hey, I've done what I needed to do with fitness at whatever age, like what does it look like? Do you have an age where you want to have certain things accomplished? Do you want to retire, live on a beach? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that. One thing is, the foundation of it is this. I'll tell you this. I would never stop doing health. All right. So personal training is an aspect of health. But I will forever be in the health promoting business. So whether that be personal training, whether that be at some point, my ambition is to have hold health seminars and health resorts. So people love to travel, right? I want to get to a place where people are traveling and we go to, a space where, it may be Anguilla, we go to Jamaica, and it's a health retreat. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying health from the idea where it's like, oh, we're just going to do healthy things. But again, health is really just means improving your quality of life. And that doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. So enjoying yourself, enjoying your space, having a few drinks here and there, like, you know what I'm saying? If it makes you feel good and you know how to do that in moderation and in a space where it's not completely detrimental to your entire livelihood, then so be it, do that. You get what I'm saying? So I want to hold retreats where people can see, like, I'm not perfect. I party. I just had a party last week. I had some drinks. We can do that, but you can also see the other side. The other side where after I drink, I I do a detox. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't drink every weekend. I don't drink every day. You know what I mean? I space it out. I know how to get toxins out of my body. I know what it's like to stretch and do meditation, and I want to be able to show people that. And ultimately, my financial goal is monetarily, there is no goal. Generally speaking, I want to help at least 1 million people get healthy and make millions doing that. All right, but my cap on finances, there is none, because you're always going to find money is just a source of freedom. You're always going to find a way to need more money. You will never not need more. You will always need more, no matter what. A wise man once said, that's a millionaire. He was like, man, the hardest thing about being a millionaire wasn't making the million. He was like, once you become a millionaire, you realize making the million was actually easy. It's managing the million. You know what I'm saying? Managing the million and managing your want for more and making sure that you're in a healthy space and not continuously chasing this idea of like more. And just understanding that more will always be a thing. You know what I'm saying? The more money you have, the more people you may want to help.
Right.
So me needing more money for that retreat, I'm going to need more. You know, I've already looked it up. There's an island on Anguilla that I would want to rent out. That's $20,000, I think, per day. I would want to rent that out. So even though I have millions, I would need to make more to be able to rent out Anguilla in an island for a week to have a retreat for people. You get what I'm saying? So I will always need more. I will need more to have a jet, you know what I'm saying, to put those people on the jet and host a seminar on the jet before we get there. I'm going to always need more to do that. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're a dreamer, you're going to always need more. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
There is no cap on how much money I'm going to make. More than anything else, I just want to continue to be able to add value and just be fulfilled and be free doing that at the same time.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad that you put thought into your actual dream, because I think most people, they don't, which is why you can't visualize yourself being somewhere if you never even created it in your own, in your own mind. So IB, thank you so much for coming here. What is the best way if someone's interested in your ebook, if they're interested in your online program, training, whatever, what's the best way for them to reach you and contact you?
Right now, I'm working on my website. So you can write this down. It's not, up right now, but in the future, it will be peopleshealthcoach.com. Again, that's people, PEOPLES, healthcoach.com. That website should be up and running within the next 30 days or so. And you can contact me immediately via Instagram at IB_yo, YO_trainer. Again, that's IB_yo_trainer. You can also find me on Facebook.
And they just inbox you?
Inbox me. You can follow me. I give a lot of free gems away. That's my thing. Again, I love to add value. So my page is full of valuable information. You can just hit follow. If you would like to learn more about my health coaching program, which is a 16-week program showing you how to lose weight with ease. And here's the catch-22, keep it off forever. If you would like to lose weight with ease and keep it off forever, you can hit me up on Instagram and just DM me health. All right. And I will give you more information on how we move forward from there. And like I said, when the website is up, peopleshealthcoach.com, you'll be able to go there and it'll give you all the information that you need to be able to reach me and be able to get on a coaching strategy call with me so we can focus on moving forward.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you so much for giving me your time today, coming through to the Millennial Network podcast. Y'all definitely reach out to him. But again, Millennial Network podcast, where your network equals Holly, I can't talk today. Your network equals your net worth, and y'all have a good one.
Appreciate you.
Peace.